Welcome to the free audiobook version of The Everyday Pain Guide, your go-to guide when pain first strikes. Hi, I'm Dr. Ya-Ling Liu, and the podcast is taking a little detour to make my new book available in an audio-friendly version for everyone out there. Each episode will feature a bite-sized snippet from the book, and together we'll work our way through as much of it as is possible in this format. What's exciting about this is that I'm reading parts of the book to you before it's even available on the shelves. Plus, unlike with a traditional audiobook, you can engage with the content and chat with me about what you hear. You get to ask questions and tell me what you think as each episode rolls out. So sit back and relax as I bring you today's installment of the second book in the Everyday Pain Guide series, Fix the Fire Damage. In the last 3 episodes, we covered stress biology action steps to address coping, the 5 senses, and glucose metabolism. Today, we're looking at modifications that can happen by becoming aware of postures that can express, convey, or alleviate stress. The information, techniques, and suggestions discussed here are not intended as a substitute for your own medical care. Please always consult a healthcare provider before implementing any advice referenced here. Release fear postures by retraining safety postures. How you hold your body, whether conscious or not, plays a role in your state of mind. While the mere appearance of quote-unquote good or bad posture is mostly irrelevant when it comes to everyday aches and pains, certain postures reflect or neurologically inform the state of our nervous systems. How we embody stress can reinforce our physiological experience of it and vice versa. There are technically 5 ways in which humans react to trauma and fear. We either fight, flee, freeze, fawn, or flop. Fight or flight are the most commonly referred to when talking about the part of the nervous system that activates during stressful events, but freeze, fawn, and flop are equally possible responses. Here in the book, there are a series of figures where you can see a few physically visible responses to fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, or appease. Not pictured is the flop response to fear. Flop refers to when the brain and body check out or abandon ship, allowing for complete physical submission and emotional dissociation. It is a last resort and serves to protect from the memory and experience of a significant traumatic event. While it may warrant further exploration in the future, the flop trauma response isn't necessarily associated with a specific physical position or shape and therefore is not part of this fear posture discussion. At this point in the book, readers see 4 different cartoon drawings of body postures that demonstrate a fighting stance, a fleeing posture, a frozen in fear position, and a fawning or appeasing body mannerism. What these first 4 and most familiar fear postures share in appearance is some degree of physical shortening in the distance between shoulders and hips, as well as knees and hips. There's a noticeable curled shape along the front of the body, with shoulders rounding or hunching, and knees bending or buckling. These elements are all subtle expressions of that ultimate protective stance, the fetal position. Even when a body appears upright and there's no imminent reason to fight, flee, freeze, or fawn, low-grade emotional stress and anxiety can very subtly trigger one or several of these postural expressions, but not necessarily visibly. The muscles that create the protective shape simply become activated and tense in response to your nervous system's underlying vigilance. What is your body doing as you go through your day? Are you bracing for impact? Is your belly constricted, preventing it from expanding fully with breath? Are you carrying your worries on your shoulders? Once you're aware of how you embody feelings of fear versus safety, you can start to intentionally activate the muscle groups that support your unique physical representation of safety instead of fear. A more open and easeful body position can then signal to your brain that you are as okay as you intellectually know that you are. In the same way that you can inundate your senses with relaxing smells, sights, and sounds to crowd out stress and anxiety, you can also retrain your physical body to become strong in a posture that reflects feelings of safety instead of fear. One of the trickiest things is to try to assume posture that we think is quote unquote correct, because if your brain and nervous system are wired for anxiety, you're fighting against strongly programmed muscles that are prioritizing survival and would rather have you in a fetal position. This is part of what can make sitting or standing up straight so tiring, aside from the structural stress that can result from your embodiment of the popular but misleading ideal of what sitting up straight looks like. A short-term solution to this unconscious tension is to seek out regular cardiovascular exercise, which can offer a therapeutic body fatigue that temporarily disables the nervous system tension. The increase in breathing during exercise can also contribute to the short-term repatterning of your body's stress holding. The long-term solution is to strengthen the muscle groups that create shapes opposite from the fetal shape. Think of the most vulnerable position for your body, and you might picture something like what you would do to make a snow angel or the shape of a starfish, arms and legs outstretched in the shape of an X, belly and chest exposed, and gazing upward with your throat also exposed. When you're exercising, are you spending more time reinforcing the fetal position by doing crunches, hunching over a bicycle, or doing push-ups, for example? You don't have to stop doing those activities, but do rethink your workouts to at least equally include activities that engage, activate, and build the muscles of the back, that open your chest and belly and lift your gaze. A few good examples that incorporate elements of safety posture can be found in numerous reinforced activities of the body mechanics action plans. Among those are Superman isometrics, triceps extension pull downs, bird dog, and reverse Roman chair, just to mention a few. But once you move on from this guidebook, you'll be ready to engage in full body activities that allow for a broader focus. At that point, you can think more generally about spending time activating the muscles that create the starfish or snow angel shape. A few examples include muscles of the arm used to straighten your elbows, the triceps, or the ones that roll your shoulders back, teres minor and infraspinatus, or the leg muscles that straighten your knees, quadriceps and hips, buttocks. These are the muscles that get the least attention from us in our day-to-day lives, but they are the ones that can help fight off the many variations of fear posture. When strong and activated, these safety posture muscles will create ease in positions that signal to your nervous system that you are okay. When it's time to turn out the lights at the end of the day, what position is your body in as you drift off to sleep? Probably some version of a protective posture. Are you reinforcing the fetal position? You're not alone, and it's okay, because if your sleep quality is good, then your muscles are all resting no matter what position you're in. But stay open to playing with your positioning to minimize some of the extreme compression that can happen in the shoulders if you're a side sleeper, for example. You can also play with the option to untuck your chin and let your nose point up away from your chest. You may even try starting out on your back with palms facing up, arms at your sides. The latter option is not easy for many people, but it can help to use a heated or a weighted blanket on the belly to remind your nervous system that you are, in fact, safe in this otherwise vulnerable position. With all your efforts to retrain your posture from fear to safety, try to imagine yourself in a favorite, relaxing scenario. Maybe that's stretched out on the couch after a big meal, or swinging in a cozy hammock on a warm, sunny day, looking up at the sky. How can you channel a similar feeling of ease into your daily postures? That completes the action steps for releasing your fear postures from the Stress Biology Action Plan of Volume 2 of the Everyday Pain Guide series, Fix the Fire Damage. Are you a fighter, fleer, freezer, or appeaser? What do you think your go-to stress posture is? After listening to today's episode, do you now notice elements of the fetal position inside of the shape your body is currently in? Are you already thinking of ways to change that? Definitely share your ideas over on my Substack, Better Pain Coping, where others can benefit from your insights too. In the next episode, we'll wrap up this combination release and retrain action phase with a look at ideas and biases. Changing how we think can be a really powerful way to decrease the probability of suffering as we navigate our persistent aches and pains. See you then. This episode was an excerpt from The Everyday Pain Guide, your go-to guide when pain first strikes. Written and narrated by me, Dr. Ya-Ling Liu, with audio editing and production provided by Organized Sound Productions. Do you have questions or comments about today's episode? You can shoot me an email anytime at hello@stopeverydaypain.com. That's HELLO@stopeverydaypain.com. If you have friends or family members who you know are struggling with persistent, recurring aches and pains, tell them to check out the podcast while they're waiting for the book. To help me get this information to as many people who need it as possible, please consider leaving an honest review, but I'd also be super grateful for a simple like, follow, or share. Thank you for helping me put a stop to everyday pain.